But it didn't begin like a story of love. It began like something left behind in silence, where no one was supposed to notice a small body shaking under broken light. The world was too large for her then, too loud, too careless to see a kitten that didn't even know how to ask for help. She wasn't lost at first. She was simply unnoticed, moving through spaces that never learned her name. And then one day, a hand reached down, warm, certain, and everything changed, because the moment she felt love for the first time, she also began walking toward a lesson she didn't understand yet. That love was not only a place to arrive, but something that could slowly teach her what it costs to be soft in a world that doesn't always stay soft back. I remember her before the world learned her gently, a tiny kitten with eyes too open, believing every shadow might hide kindness. She moved like hope that hadn't yet been disappointed, and when she was taken in, it felt like the universe finally exhaled for her. Warm blankets, quiet voices, hands that didn't rush away. For the first time, she wasn't surviving. She was belonging. But belonging has a strange way of changing its shape. It doesn't always stay as comfort. Sometimes it becomes expectation, and expectation, for someone so soft, becomes a silent weight she doesn't know she is carrying. She started noticing the difference without understanding it. The way the same hands that once held her longer now placed her down quicker. The way laughter in the room didn't always include her anymore, not in a cruel way, just in a forgetting way. And the kind of forgetting hurts differently because it doesn't announce itself. It simply makes you smaller in places no one admits to looking at. Still, she stayed gentle. Still, she pressed closer when silence grew too heavy for the humans around her, because that is what she learned love was, to move toward discomfort and soften it with her presence. But slowly, something inside her began to hesitate. A pause between instinct and action. A moment where she would stop mid-step, unsure if she was still wanted in the same way she once was. And in those pauses, she began to hear something new. Not words, not voices, but absence. It wasn't loud, it was quieter than silence itself, like a space that used to be filled with attention now learning how to stay empty. That's when she began to understand something without being taught. That love could exist and still drift away while you are holding it. She didn't change suddenly. Kittens never do. Change arrives in pieces, in soft realizations that don't feel like endings at first. She still came when called, still curled where warmth was offered, but something in her eyes began to shift. Not bitterness, not anger, just awareness. And awareness is the first step away from innocence. There were moments she would sit alone, watching humans move through their world like she was part of a background that didn't need focus. And she would wonder, in her quiet way, if she had become something they only noticed when she was missing from it. Then came the day everything softened in a way that didn't feel safe anymore. She reached out, as she always did, toward a hand that used to welcome her instantly. But this time, there was hesitation on the other side. A second too long, a glance that moved past her before settling. And in that small delay, she felt something unfamiliar settle inside her chest. Not pain exactly, more like truth arriving without permission. She realized she had been giving without being noticed giving. And there is a difference that only silence can explain. She sat back for the first time, not because she was told to, but because she chose to. And in that choice, the world reacted strangely. People noticed her less movement, more stillness. They started asking why she wasn't as close anymore, why she wasn't as quick to come. But what they didn't realize was that she was still there, just no longer chasing what never truly held her. And that changed everything inside her, because once you see the difference between being wanted and being used for presence, you can never unsee it again. She still loved. That never disappeared. But love stopped being something she spilled without shape. It became something she carried carefully, like something that could break if given without thought. There were still moments she would step forward instinctively, old habits pulling at her gently. But now she would pause, and in that pause, she would decide, not from fear, not from pain, but from understanding, the kind that grows slowly when softness learns it has limits. And strangely, the world around her began to shift again. Not because she changed into something harder, but because she was no longer endlessly available. And absence, she learned, speaks louder than constant presence ever did.